My name is Rodrigo Pinto. I'm a Portuguese guy. I'm working for a company called Storm. That's an Irish company. And basically, I'm showing a little bit on the SharePoint Spaces since I've been around this thing since the beginning. So what is SharePoint Spaces? So basically, it's the web-based authoring tool for us to give more, to have more immersive experience in stories within the platform itself. Okay. So why SharePoint? So it makes total sense to have this kind of technology on top of SharePoint itself and Office 365 regarding the familiarity on authoring the environments and in all the tools that we have. Most of the content that companies already have are inside of SharePoint 3D and 360 content, and we by having those type of content inside of SharePoint, we have the security and compliance applied to that thing. Okay, so why the web? Basically works for any browser, any modern browser. It can consume 3D and 2D content, and basically the idea here, even if you don't have the headed mounted display, you can actually have the immersive experience within the canvas of the SharePoint itself. Okay. So what are some of the scenarios that we can apply to this? Usually you use the space itself for creating scenarios for onboarding or tours on your company, catalogs or training, and new product launches. There's another, I mean, with this approach with a couple of clients, a couple of other approaches that we can reuse, and I'm going to show a little bit more on at the end what we can do right now. But there's a bunch of things. One of the things that we can actually do is mix 3D with the current sites, with objects, and being a little more immersive on the experience that you have, not just only 3D but on 2D also. So what's the experience like? I'm a little bit fast because I have a bunch of things to show you guys. So the idea here is if we have the controller for the 3D, we don't need any muscle memory for using the controller itself. So it's just one click. You just select it, and there's a little bit of on video on this type of thing. So what you see right now, it's a canvas in 3D with SharePoint Spaces where you select an object and you can rotate and you can expand, inspect the stuff. You can see videos. And you can expect a video like this one. Yeah, it's a little bit long. I think I'm going to pass this thing or not. We can actually leverage the current assets as the files that we have on Office 365, and we can preview it and mark them for read later, save later. So let me get back to the demo itself. So first of all, so this is our demo tenant. So first of all, what do we need to do for having the SharePoint space active? So we need to go to the site settings itself and activate a site level feature. Okay, site features, and then you have on this one, it's already activated. It's already activated. You just need to activate this thing, and then afterwards, whenever you do, you go to your home page, you do the new, and then you have a little option here called Space Preview. You click on it. So what is this? So basically, each one of the 3D experience that we have a structure, and basically the structure is it's like the stage for us to put all the 3D assets that we need in and how to navigate. Usually I use this one because it's a cleaner one. We can use all the things that you need here. First space, create it, okay. And then we will have canvas of the 3D immersive within the page itself. We have a couple of options here. This one is for full size on the page, and then we have the space design here. The option, just click on it, and we have a couple of options: the name itself, the structure, as we did at the beginning, and afterwards we actually can can change this background to the ones that Microsoft make available to us without us adding anything else. Okay, and we can actually change for another type of background illustration. We can have a bunch of illustrations and change the color. It's more like a digital experience. Okay. Another cool thing is you have a welcome message. You can put like an audio. Just put one like this, the intro, and then we can actually have ambient sound with it. I don't know if you guys can listen, probably not, right? Because I didn't share the audio. So basically you hear like a background ambient sound like wind, rain, and you can do all these kind of things. So this is the landing part. If I do the publish.
Party people, how you feeling?
Yeah, so basically that's the first part that you need. So you will have your environment. Let me just change this for a different background just for us to see better the 3D stuff. Image, put it like this. That's okay. Okay, so after that, we can actually add web parts. And the web parts, the system is the same. That's why it's so easy to do these kind of things. The system is the same as we do content within SharePoint. So we have a couple of, we have 9 web parts, at least for now, for dealing with 360 content and for dealing with some of the content that we are actually using within SharePoint. So I'm going to start with this one, 360 image. As you can see, you can put the web part whatever we need. So then afterwards, as you may look, I'm a huge fan of Marvel. Let me just grab a 360 image here. Yes, it's images 360 and this one. Okay, after that, we see a ball with a podium here, and you have a couple of settings for us to deal with. Okay, and most of the things we can change the image, as you can see. We can change the rotation of that 360 image. We can change the height of the podium for doing something like this, and we actually can add actions for each one of the items that we see here. So basically, this part is common on most of the web parts, and basically we can add or remove actions. We can link to another space, to play audio, and link to another page or item. So I'm going to do to publish this thing. When I click on this thing, so it's quite immersive, and I see this in the future for having pinpoints on each one of the images if the software will support this kind of things. It's quite interesting for companies to have this kind of approach to showing products and showing even reports. Okay, I hit the escape thing, so I'm going to edit the page again, and I'm going to add a little 360 video. And actually, the 360 video, if you're not doing video, it's kind of weird to find some videos. Just to this one, just for you guys to know the experience. So basically,
hello,
you can do this kind of thing, right? So this is the kind of experience that we have whenever you add a 360 image. I'm not going through the entire stack, or else we'll be here till the rest of the day. So another thing interesting is a 3D object, and basically this is at least on my clients is the most used item for them to have this kind of visualization on this type of items. I just created 3D with Parker, So let's hope it's a little bit heavy. Yep. So basically, we can grab the object and we can drag and drop wherever, move it and change the size and the direction, the scalability, all these kind of things. Okay. What's the experience when you're seeing this kind of things? So basically, the 3D object pops out for you to manage like this. Okay. So probably there's a couple of other ones. The document library will look into the document, and you will see a carousel in 3D for doing the things, for choosing the parts. I'm going to show all of them in use on one of the presentations that we did for one of our clients. And let me go here to the home page again. Spaces company. So basically, this company is around renewable energies. And one of the things that we did, let me try to do this thing, that we did was actually we leveraged a couple of 360 images for the background. These are some of the files. They're public files, but they are things that you can actually read. Or the behavior on this one is open a new tab, and actually you can leverage this same file within SharePoint, and you can actually you will be redirected to the file itself, hopefully, or not. Yeah, it will work. This thing that you see here, it's actually the document library carousel, the web part. You pointed to document library, and all the 3D objects and the 360 images are shown here. I don't know why the regular images are not. At the beginning they were. Right now it's not working. I don't know why. So this is a 3D object. This is another one. If you don't have those kind of assets, you have a catalog to attach to it, and actually there's another one that the guys from Disney gave me. Let's try to see if this works here. So basically, you have this kind of version of see, you can rotate along the side of the dragon and all of this. Okay, so back to regular videos. We can do visualizations like this. This is a video. So this is the video web part, the regular one. And we actually can leverage this kind of things rolling at the same time and doing this kind of type of approach on that part. Okay. And let me look in another example that I have here. It's this more personal one. As you may notice, I'm a Marvel freak. So, so what I did was actually I created a little space with the infamous heroes. So you can have this kind of thing like a show or like a, oh, another web part that's actually interesting is the one regarding the organization chart. Okay, so this tenant is SharePoint related, so it's a mix between Star Wars and Marvel, so it's a demo test, so no problem. And basically, you can do this kind of things. This is what you see here is actually images from the comics, and these 3D models are free for using. This is a regular image and collectibles. And you have a video here also. You can play the video, which you should play. It's not playing, I don't know why. Okay, kind of weird. So this is the experience. Now, one of the things that we actually do, and it's quite good, the experience of editing this kind of things. But the problem that we have right now of doing this kind of content, usually you grab the model and you need to replicate the model within other pages or whatever. So you have 2 or 3 choices on that thing. You just copy the page as it is and create a new one, and then just delete what you don't want, and then edit what you need. Or you use the PnP to do the provisioning on those pages, or you do something more or less like what I'm going to show you now. And basically, regarding the development and the extensibility of this kind of assets, right now it's not available. So hopefully it will be available, a framework within the PnP umbrella. So all things that you see here, it's based on Babylon.js. So it's a JavaScript engine that basically manages the WebGL. That's the thing, the 3D part that you see here, and manages quite good and quite easily to do. It's like if you need to think in the future and try to extend the platform with something that Microsoft will provide, it will be based on the same concepts that you have on Babylon.js. Okay. One thing that we did for a couple of clients was, let me just check. So basically, I'm just opening this because this is not even in production yet. What we actually did was we're going to put this is a web part that we created just for the mockups itself. It's not right now completed, but the idea is this web part will be part of the PnP repository also. Okay, so basically what is this? So each one of the rectangles that you see here is a scene from the SharePoint space. And basically one of the things that we can do, we cannot do anything inside of this because it's too tight, it's too close with the compiling and with the SPFX solutions and all these kind of things. So what we can actually leverage is the current platform, the current structure that SharePoint shows us uses to provision those web parts, because they are 3D, but they are web parts. And if you look at the pages itself, the content canvas, that's a field that exists on the site pages, you can actually see the structure of each one of the web parts. So what we did here, we grabbed one of these scenes. Basically, it's a page, and we grab all the web parts itself. You see here. One thing that bugs me, actually, it's not having a way to do the name on this thing, although there's a couple of tricks that you can reuse. And basically, you can choose. Imagine that you already have a huge catalog of things to be done, of scenes already done, and you can grab this, and you can see on each one of them the details of this is the text fields they are using. We put a little bit on the tweaking on the JSON part. So this is actually the JSON that's part of that defines one web part, and then it's just a matter of grabbing and changing this fields and to apply to a new one. Lisbon fits. So we select the web parts here, save all, and hopefully it will save somewhere here or not. Okay, apparently you have to leave the proper message. Please see in a bit. Okay, this is just a mock-up, no problem. We actually need to refresh the thing. So this page is completely empty. So whenever we do this thing, we can actually see. Now, one of the things that's kind of weird, and we need to drill down a little bit more on this part, is regarding the content of the text itself on these things, because this apparently has something in cache that's using the sample docs, is using this phrasing, and if I go here and do the edit, I actually see that the phrase is Lisbon right now. Okay. Another interesting thing, you can combine scenes. You can grab, where's the scene with Marvel stuff again? Marvel, please. Come on. Okay, so it's loading. We don't actually need the scene preview just for you to see the images. You can grab this thing, and right now it's just applying to that page, but the idea here is to have this whenever you're editing a page, a space, okay? And this is actually helping most of our clients to replicate scenarios. I'll try to do another thing just for you guys to see what's the effect. I just clicked twice, I think, or 3 times. Okay. Now if I do a refresh on this thing, so I can actually create and identify the web parts like a group and apply to the page itself. Now, one of the things that we're investigating also is moving this kind of things on that web part. Hopefully, the new framework for dealing with this will be ready soon. I'm hoping, because this is kind of a nightmare. You can have this kind of thing. So I click twice. See, it's duplicated. So it's the easy way. Not this one. This one, I didn't duplicate it. This one I did. Okay. And basically, that's the things that we're currently doing on this. It's not more than it's not that deep on adding web parts and adding new web parts and all these kind of things, but it's more on the tooling on how to replicate, how to replicate, duplicate, or rearrange the content across the entire company. Okay, so basically that's it on my side.
Excellent. Thank you, Rodrigo. Right on time as well. So
yeah, I know. That's why I was speaking.
So I think that one of the challenges related on the let's say refreshes and everything else is quite simply that it's pretty performance intensive operation when you're playing with Babylon.js at the same time when you're feeding a video externally to Microsoft Teams. So
yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably I was guessing that that's now the bottleneck. So, but it is really, really, really cool. And Babylon.js, like mentioned on the chat as well by Harsha and you, Rodrigo, is the behind of the scenes. Everything is been built on that. There's an ongoing discussion related on when we will open up the spaces for third-party extensibility and additional components and all of that stuff. And that's ongoing internally. No ETA on that one.